Hello, everybody. This is Joni, and don't feel bad. I figure I'm just about as surprised as you are. It's been a long, long time since I've been on here, and I've been having so many problems and everything, but I'm not going to go into all that. So we'll just have a little chat, and I'll just bring you up on some of the things that I've been doing, and I thought that a lot of you, the last time I was on, I did some reading out of one of my little Bibles, and I have a daily planner that I read things out of, and I thought that I might possibly read you a couple, 3 pages out of that. They're just short and everything, but um, I hope that you all have been getting along well. I ain't on starting this for probably the last 6 weeks to 2 months, but then we had a lovely visitor, as you all know, and it wasn't a welcome visitor either. It was very unwelcome, and the name was Sally, and we didn't think we were going to get anything, so we didn't pay. We just, we didn't pay too much attention to it. But then about the last, the night before it got really bad, we decided that Tanya and Melvin were talking, and Tanya asked me, she says, do you think we should put our shutters up? Because they have shutters and I do too. So when you shutter one house, you have to shutter both of them. And well, you don't have to, but we always do. And so I said, well, you never know about those things, because the first time I saw it, I looked at her and I said, it wouldn't surprise me if that thing wouldn't come right up through there, come across the Gulf, and come right across us. And she said, well, said it isn't supposed to. It's supposed to head more down toward New Orleans. And I said, well, you really can't tell about that, but I guess we can watch. So that's what we did. And so they came up and they shuttered their house, and then they came up and put all my shutters up. And so I was enclosed in a cocoon, you might say. And so then we got the news after we had just finished shuttering. And we got the news that it was going to turn and come back up and come over us. And it did really a lot of damage down away from us, but not here where we are. And I had a lot of water in my yard, but it was just rainwater. And my next door neighbor's yard looked like he had a lake almost in front of his yard, and that's the way mine looked. And the state isn't quite as vigilant as what they should be with keeping the drains emptied and cleaned out and everything that go down on the road beside where our property is. And it's everyone's is like that. And they're supposed to come down and clean those drains and things out. And when you build your house, you have to build and pay them to put those drains in, and then you put them in them yourselves, but they're supposed to maintain them. They have not been taking care of their business like they should, put it that way. So that's why we had collected so much water. And but we didn't know, because we couldn't see out because of the shutters. And Tanya and her husband came up, and little Maggie, she spent the night with us. I'm just happy that I still know my name, and sometimes I'll go to the store. Not lately, though. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I will go to a store before all this virus and everything hit. And they'd say, and your phone number is? And I would look at them and I'd say, I'm sorry you asked me a question that's just too hard. Because sometimes someone asks me a question and I just go completely blank. Because I don't know what it is, but it hasn't been just here recently. I mean, it's been for several years, probably 20 years, and so I know that's not Alzheimer's or anything like that, so that helps with that. But anyway, they came up and I spent the night, and it was a lovely time. I'm telling you, it's the first time I've gone through a hurricane other than when Tanya was still working as an RN. We had one come in, but she had to work and she couldn't leave. So she told us, she said, my family is allowed to come to the hospital and stay during the hurricane. So she said, I want you all down here so I won't be worrying. So all of our family went down and spent it at the hospital. And we couldn't even tell anything was going on because when you're in all that hospital and that concrete and cinder blocks and back in there, you can't even hear the wind. So we spent the night that evening and the night, and then the next morning it was over. And when we went to look out, there were branches and everything blown all over the place. But it still didn't do any damage to the house. And so I was very thankful for that. And then we left for one. That was Ivan. It was enormous. I mean, that was, it had 180-mile-an-hour winds coming through. And we only lost one little piece of aluminum about 2 inches wide and maybe 12 foot long, something like that, just over the garage. And of course we lost our fence. But as long as it didn't deal with the house, that didn't matter much because that's easily put back up, the fence is. And we lost a couple pecan trees. But still that wasn't dealing with the house. The house was the main thing. And it's just such a feeling when you think, you look around at everything you've got, you know, and you think, oh, I've had that for years and years and years, and I've had that and that's from Mom, and that's from Mom and Dad, and from his mother and dad, and my husband's mother and dad. And I can't lose those, and then things that you have, you've bought yourself that you really like, and pictures, and that's the real things that you can't replace. The other things, yeah, they can't be replaced, but you could buy new things like them. But I mean, I'm a very sentimental person anyway. And like all my dishes that I have that Mom gave me. And I won't even put them in a dishwasher, so you might know how I would feel about them when you're having to leave due to a storm. And I just don't like it. And I love trees. Give me green trees growing on mountains with a nice cool breeze blowing and snowflakes as big around as cups just about in the winter. I know there's a lady I watch from Colorado, and she shows the snow a lot there. And it's gorgeous. It's beautiful, and I just dearly love it. And I must say, I don't envy much, but I do wish that I could have snow like she has. I don't envy her, but I do wish that I could have some of the snow like she has. But it's just so gorgeous, and I grew up in the stuff. So it isn't Thanksgiving and it isn't Christmas unless it's snowing. Because back home we usually got our first snow around the first, about the middle of November. Usually, a lot of times it would be on Thanksgiving Day, and or right before Thanksgiving. And we would start that fire in the fireplace, and we had humongous logs because our fireplace was really big. It was one of those that's big enough that you can actually cook in it. You can put the big iron pot back in there. And we have fixed steaks and baked potatoes and everything back in our fireplace. And there were plenty of room that nothing splattered or anything like that because my husband wanted a large fireplace, and I did too. So we had a large copper pot that hung on a big iron arm that stuck out in our fireplace. So we love to do that. We love to cook in there on the fireplace. And when the electricity would go off, we would have a humongous fire in there, and we would get all the pillows and everything and bring them in and put them in front of the fireplace and the blankets, and we would play games and tell stories and just things like that, and eat. We had stuff that we could fix there, and it was fun. It was really a lot of fun, and that's things that I remember about the snow. That's why I love it so much. And it just doesn't seem right if you aren't getting snow. So, but that's basically what's been going on here. We are getting along well. Tanya was sick for a while, and she is still sort of rebounding. You can't tell it. So she does a lot of work on that channel that she has. She's doing quite well, though, and I'm very proud of her. But she has stuck right there with it, and she likes doing the work and everything. She likes making things. And she put up a video this morning, and she called me, and she said, Mom said, have you seen my video? And I said, no, I didn't know you put one up. She said, yeah, she said, I had to put one up today. And she said, she told me what she had done, and she had fixed some pumpkins. And I watched it, and they were really pretty. I liked them. But my problem is I have so much in my house. It's overload. It's on overload, and the alarms are going off saying, I have enough. I have enough. And the things that I have are things that I really do like. And so when I'm the type of person that I can buy something if I really, really like it. I mean, I love it. I can live with that quite easily for 15 years and never change it. It's something that I like, and I look and look and look before I buy, and then I am satisfied. And Tanya's the same way. And so when I was putting up videos regularly, I was just running totally out of space because I have my poor studio in there. I still don't have it fixed. I'm in the living room right now. And so I have to try to get a lot of this stuff that I collected for projects that I would be making. And you just don't have anywhere to put what you make. And there's nothing to do with them other than just give them to someone or give them away or something. Or try to switch what you have if you're not crazy about it. But I like my things I have too much to take them out and replace them. It has to be really something that I really and truly love that I make. Flower arrangements, that's different. I can change my flower arrangements out quite often. But, and wreaths and things like that. And before that, my husband was ill. And before that, we had a granddaughter. And she took over everything. She stole the whole scene. And she was the apple of our eye. And we loved that baby, something terrible. And I wrote I have a book that I prepared for her when she was first born. She was born in, oh my goodness, don't tell me that my mind has gotten that bad. She was born in 2004. No. Yeah, I think it was 2004. Well, I can find out real fast just by looking at this book. I think it was 2004. I know it was May the 10th. And first thing I did was, 2004. And I went and bought a book and started filling it out with things that I did with her and everything. And I wrote her an introduction page. I thought that I might read that to you all, but when I was in college, my instructor told me to never put out anything that I read unless it was copyrighted, because she said, the things are too good, Joan. And she said, well, she called me Joni. Most people, I call myself Joan, but most people call me Joni. And I know all my doctors do and everything. And she said, your work is just too good. And she said, so make sure that you copyright all these things. So I'm going to have Tanya, I don't know how to do it on the computer, but she can. And so I'm going to have her copyright it for me and send it in. And she will be able to do that right after the video is, probably before the video is put up. So I don't think that it would bother anything, but I can show you the book. This is the book that I bought for her. And this is supposed to have a picture of the two of us in it here, but I haven't gotten it put up and put in. And a lot of the things, I have the pages, tons and tons of things written in here to her. Things are falling out right now. And it goes over my family, my husband's family, our immediate family, and her daddy, and her Aunt Tawny, and everything, and about them and what they did when they were little, and what all I have done with her while she was growing up, and everything. And it's really nice. And I have another book that I want to read to you all and show. I'm not sure if the battery, it has a battery that you record your voice on it, and you read the book to the child. And I got one of those when she was first born, and I read her a story with that book, and from now on then she will have my voice. And when I'm not here, she will still remember, it can remind her of what Mama's voice sounded like and everything. And so I have that for her. And then I have another smaller book. I have her 4 books that one I haven't even started on. And she's 16 now, and it doesn't seem possible. Seems to me like she should still be the little girl with the long blonde curls, and those big blue eyes looking up at you. And I love that baby, something terrible. But what I wrote to her, I wrote it on May the 28th, because her birthday was May the 10th. And the 28th, I had bought this book already, and it says, A Letter to My Granddaughter. And I will read you what I wrote to her. And I put down here, someone walked into my life today. And they did. She walked right into my life. The footprints are small but very deep. Who could this be crossing my heart? Who was that little person crossing her mama's heart? Someone made footprints on my heart today. She surely could not know how deep these impressions are. But I know, because they make my heart rejoice with song. And they did. Yes, these are the footprints I have awaited so long. And I did. I waited a long time for those little footprints. Her prints bring great joy and extreme pride to me. And they do, and she did, and she still does. Once again, I felt that same constant, powerful love that I love for her, that I feel for her daddy, and her Aunt Tawny. There is no love as powerful as this love, except the love of God. And that's the way I feel. God's love is the only love that surpasses the love I have for that little girl. Of course, her papa is gone, and so her love is there. This love brings tears to my eyes and smiles to my face when I look down upon her beautiful face. Someone made footprints on my heart today. She is so precious, so trusting. As she sleeps, she smiles and laughs so. Her papa says that she is playing with the angels. How wonderful to be so pure and innocent that she can be entertained by angels. Sophie, my darling little baby girl, I love you so. I thank my God upon every remembrance of you. And I do. I thank God for every time I have a memory of her. And I have enough memories to fill my life with an awful lot of memories. Of course, I could make a lot more memories, but that's what I wrote for her the first time in her book. And I love it. And I'm going to make a book and put a lot of my writings in my book, and I'm going to have it printed myself on when I'm not around, that she will have that to show her children when she gets older and gets through school and everything, and she has children, that she can have something to show her children about what her mama wrote about her. And I have some other papers that deal with her. I have written poetry after poetry of things about her, and they're somewhat like this. Some of them overwhelm me when I read them because they're very poignant. And but that's one of the things that I wrote in her book for her, and I had forgotten a lot of what they looked like, what it looked like, until I got it out and reread it the other day, because I think that I would like to read this to my subscribers. And she was such a good baby. A lot of babies cry and cry and cry, and she didn't. She didn't cry at all. And she would just, and she was singing at 3 months old. And everyone thought that I had just lost my mind because I would be taking care of her, because I babysat her a lot. And there would be no one here but just the two of us. And I would go out on the porch and sit with her, and the wind would be blowing, just a nice warm breeze or something. And I'd be looking down at the trees in our yard, and the leaves would be blowing and everything. And I would sing to her, and I'd just sing and sing and sing to her. And she gradually started going, da, 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 da. And and she got to where she was just trying to sing right along with me. And I told them one day, I said, that baby is singing with me. And they said, of course, Mom, we know she is singing with you. I said, okay, just wait. You'll see. Just wait. I'll start singing with her one of these days, and I'll show you all just what she does. So I didn't pay any more attention to it. And then one day we were sitting here, and I had her on my lap, and I was singing to her. And I was just going, da, 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 like that. And she started that, and she was singing with Mama. And they looked at me like, that child is actually singing with her. So she was doing that. She was singing with her Mama. And she grew up loving to sing, and she's got a gorgeous, gorgeous voice. You can put a video on with Whitney Houston, And she can sing with Whitney Houston, and you cannot tell which is Whitney and which is her. You just can't tell the two of them apart. Then you can put one on with oh my goodness, Celine Dion. And you can't separate their voices. And I always wanted her to take voice lessons, but I never did get that accomplished. But I knew that if she would take voice lessons, I wanted her to sing in church, is what I wanted. Because I knew that she would have such a fabulous voice for church and everything. And she was in the choir about a couple years ago. And she had a beautiful voice. She was singing in that choir, and it was beautiful. But haven't seen her for a good while now, and I miss her. I miss her a lot. And she is still my baby girl. And I told her, I said, the day will never come that you will be too big for me to put my arms around you and hold you, just like I did when you were a little baby. Of course, she wouldn't be able to sit on my lap because she's bigger than I am. She's 5'8" now, believe it or not. She took after her daddy, and he's 6 foot, so I thought that she was going to catch up with him for a while, but she stopped at 5'8". So that's a good height, I think, for a woman, because you're tall enough that you don't have to worry about every calorie you put in your mouth. Now me, I'm just a little short thing. I'm 5'2½". But she was towering over me when she was here. And she would have to look down at me when she talked to me. And that is weird when you do that. You have to look up at your granddaughter, and you're used to looking down at her, and taking care of her and everything. But we had wonderful, wonderful times. We would go to Big Lots and Target, and we would eat pizza, and we would get Starbucks. And just one night, I remember I told her, I said, Sophie, how would you like to live dangerously tonight? And she looked at me, and she was probably about 5 years old, I'd say. And I always wear sweatpants around the house in the winter with a sweatshirt. And I said, tell you what. I said, I'm a little bit hungry. I said, if you would like, I said, we could go over to the restaurant. And it was just fast food is what it was. There are restaurants over there, but I didn't want to go in the restaurant. So I said, we could go over there and get some something to eat. And I said, we could wear our pajamas, because I knew she had some really pretty pajamas that she could wear out that wouldn't bother her at all. And she looked at me, and all those eyes started twinkling, because she thought she was going to be doing something that nobody else would be doing. And I said, let's put your pajamas on, and Mama already has hers on, and we will go over and have our dinner over there. So we went over there, and she sat there just like a little princess, eating her dinner, and she would just look at me and smile like, Mama, we got it over these people. I know we do. But I was always trying to find different things for us to do that she would think, I haven't done this before. And just like we picked a star out together when she was younger than that. And we were coming in one evening, we'd been out, and the stars were out so bright. And I said, Sophie, let's get a star. And I'll choose one, and you choose one. And then from now on, that'll be our stars. And so she looked, and I said, now, which one do you want? Well, she naturally chose the biggest one, of course. And I said, okay, you take that one. And Mama will take the one just down from that one. And she looked at me, and she started smiling, and she says, my star, your star. And I said, that's right, that's Mama's star and your star. And I was getting ready to get her one that you have named after the child. And I never did get to, but I did have the president, send her a birthday card. And she has that for her birthday. I forget what year it was, but I had him send her a happy birthday card. And she loved that. So I'm planning on putting all such things as that into one of the big books that I have for her, because on the front it has a big S for Sophie. And she just brings a lot of, here I am. I talked most of the time on my channels about her, and here I am talking again. And Tanya's going to say, Mom, your video is much, much too long. Here is the little book that I was telling you about that I read from just about every day. And I thought that if you all would find it interesting, I would read you some of this. This is December the 25th. September. No, it's not December. I'm looking at it, and it says September 25th. And it says, but we will give ourselves continually to prayer and to the ministry of the word. Acts 6:4. And says, I need to talk to you, Lord, but when and where? When life offers few prayable moments, lead me to a quiet spirit spot at home or at work, or in transit between the two. A brief moment is enough until we have more time. I thought that really is a nice little verse there. And this is the 26th. And let it be, when these signs are come unto thee, that thou do as occasion serve thee, for God is with thee. And that's 1 Samuel 10:7. And it says, to those scanning a night sky, you send a star. To those tending sheep on a silent hill, you sent a voice. What sign, Lord, will you send to me to come, be, and do all you intend? Let me hear, see, and accept it when you do. And I think that's the way we should all be, accept what we think that God wants us to do. And that's what I try to do, and sometimes it gets very, very hard. I know during all this COVID and everything. This is September the 27th. Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them, and will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth. Now, isn't that amazing? And here I was just sitting here, and I didn't know, I hadn't read that. I didn't know that it talked about cure, so maybe that is something that God is wanting to tell us. That's in Jeremiah 33, verse 6. It says, bring your cool caress to the foreheads of those suffering fever. By your spirit, lift the spirit of the bedridden and give comfort to those in pain. Strengthen all entrusted with the care of the infirm today, and give them a renewed energy for their tasks, and remind us all that heaven awaits, where we will be whole and healthy before you, brothers and sisters forever. Now that's a very, very good page there, September 27th. I had no idea it said that. And I'll read one more. This is the last one I'll read. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. That's in Psalms 139, 23 and 24. Whatever is right and pure, excellent and gracious, admirable and beautiful, fill my mind with these things. Too much of the world comes to me in tones of gray and brown. Too great the temptation to indulge obsessive thoughts and sordid plans. That's not something that bothers me. I have no desire to go out and try to. A lot of people like to go out to these clubs and think that's something that I have never done. I have never been in a nightclub in my life. I don't want to go into one, and that's the way I brought my kids up too. Too great the temptation to indulge obsessive thoughts and sordid plans. Guard my mind, place a fence around my motives. The pure, the lovely, the good. Yes, only those today. That's another really good book. I really love this little book. And if you're troubled or you're lonely or you're upset or you're not feeling well, if you pick that up, a lot of times it's surprising how well it actually hits what's happening with your life. And it makes you feel good when you read something like that and you know that someone has written that and God saw fit to let them publish it. And then you were able to buy it and to read it and hear His word and their thoughts and their feelings. And they were able to put them down on that paper and let us read them. So it means a lot to me to have things like that to read. And then, of course, I still read in my Bible. I was reading every day, but I became ill the other day, and then we had the storm, so I got behind on my Bible reading. But I've got to get back into my night. I read before I go to bed, and I've been going to bed later and later. My nights are usually days anymore. I don't go to bed until around maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes it's 4 or 5. And I realize that isn't good for me or for the things that I should be getting up and doing things and going and visiting people and things like that. But maybe I'll get straightened that out. But I was going to just jump on here and say a few minutes and stay a few minutes. But then I started talking, and when I started talking, I have trouble shutting up. So I will make you another video for all of you. And I'm glad to be able to talk with you. And like I said, I hope you're all feeling really marvelous, and I hope that you're enjoying your summer. At least now we can get out in the sun. And I know when they were cleaning my yard up, I was able to get out there and sit in the lawn chair and watch them clean up the limbs and things that had fallen out of the trees. And a neighbor, he fixed my fence for me. Well, he fixed all of it. And it makes you feel better just getting outside, because I hadn't even been outside for a long time. And that's just too long to stay. Probably I'll be reading in this little book every time I have make a video. I'll probably read a couple pages in it to you. And if you would prefer I read the Bible, I will do that too. But I'm going to say good night. And for once, I'm not 3 o'clock in the morning. It's only probably around, it shouldn't be over 9 o'clock unless I have gotten on here and just jibber-jab too much. But I'm going to say good night, and you all take care. And God bless you. And like I always used to say, and I still say it because it still reigns true today. I love all of you, and I know that God loves you much, much more than I do, because He has that whole powerful universe out there that He made. And He made all of our bodies, and He knew our names before we were born. And what a mighty God He is, and we have to rely on Him and praise Him for that. So I'll see you guys later, and you take care. Bye-bye.